Hey everyone, it's Albie. Welcome back to my channel. I have an exciting review for you today. It's actually a very new release. This came out on Tuesday. What day was it? Oh, it's April now. I think it was the 29th. And it had a delay because I wanted this cover, but it came out to me and most people on Thursday, the 31st. And that is The Dragon's Bride by Katee Roberts. I am not gonna lie, I think I can use the term obsessed because I have literally wanted to read this book since I first saw Books with Samantha chat about it close to a year ago. She said she must have watched an interview or seen a post with Katee Roberts saying she wanted to do like an old school 1980s clinch cover romance novel and sort of make it in that 1980s classic historical romance sort of feel. And I mean, you definitely get that from the cover. This is the original cover. There is also a discrete cover that for people that need that. And I think you can also get the discrete cover for your ebook as well. So if you're an ebook person but you need discrete covers for your lifestyle, I think that is an option as well. I think it's either called special edition or discrete cover, but it's like a blue, and I think it's a castle. But this is the original cover, and I just absolutely love this cover. I think it is so beautiful. The cover art is by Anna Moshak, and the cover design is by Elizabeth Turner Stokes. And they did such a beautiful job. It is just absolutely stunning. If I could have like one change to make it even more beautiful, it'd be to have like it in the mass market paperback size and have like the embossed or raised lettering. I think that would be so beautiful, but it is just a beautiful cover. So that's enough gushing about the actual cover, but the book was wonderful. So this was a 6-star read for me. I sort of hoped it would be a 5 or 6, and it delivered. I was very pleasantly, I wasn't surprised, but I was very ecstatic to have my my dream come true in a sense. So I don't want to give too many spoilers, but I will say, some of the plot and stuff like that. So it begins with Briar Rose, and she is having to escape her abusive husband. So there are trigger warnings for spousal abuse, physical, emotional abuse. That's not too present. This is more of the after effects of such trauma. And there's also the trauma of pregnancy. I know that can be a trigger for some people. And just a few other things that she has in her books. If you go to Katee Roberts' books, she has, before you even start the book, she has content notes. And it says, please beware that some content in this book may be trigger for some readers. Discretion is advised. And then she has her tropes for the book, as well as some tags, and then her CWs, which are I guess they would stand for content warnings. Domestic abuse, and that's sort of the aftermath. Murder, which is off page. Human, non-human sex, size different. Does have explicit sex. There was some light. This says light choking. I don't remember any light choking. And some incidental injuries, but not physical harm on malicious purpose. Let's say that. So story begins with Briar Rose, and she is trying to escape her abusive husband, and she makes a deal with a demon. So the deal with the demon, and his name I believe is pronounced Azazel. It says it has a beautiful map by the author. Azazel or Azazel. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it. I need to look it up. It might be an actual mythological person or something like that, because I know one of the characters is Rusalka, which Little Mermaid is Rusalka. If you know the opera by Dvorak, it's literally The Little Mermaid. It's based on Hans Christian Andersen's story. As you can see, love mermaids. Sorry. Just had to put that out there. I'm an opera singer as well as a reader, so kind of got to use all my wits and knowledge when I can. So she wants to escape her abusive husband. She makes the deal with the demon. The demon, as they say on TikTok, unalives her husband, which is off page, but still there. And the deal is to basically go to this new realm, and doesn't necessarily say what the deal is, but it, she figures it's something probably of a sexual nature, or something to involve her body of some sorts, which it does. And so she's transported into the new realm, which is magical, with different fairy tale beasts and goblins, so to speak. And she is auctioned off as, either, doesn't necessarily say a bride, but she has to marry our hero, who is Soul, and he is a humanoid dragon. So he is a dragon, but also male hybrid. So as you can see here, he's not really dragony, but also not really human, and Katee Robert described him as like humanoid. So the two start off to a very rocky relationship. Obviously, she's been literally auctioned off to the highest bidder, and he's like, I'll take her. I like her red hair and her white dress. And they have to marry, because part of the deal is to hopefully have the human female have a pregnancy by one of the I don't want to say, well, creature's offensive, by one of the people of this new realm. And so she's sort of like, I don't really want to have children. We're going to have to work around this. And there's some magical elements that do allow them to work around that, and you'll find that in the story. This had some wonderful tropes that I really enjoy. It had a marriage of convenience. It had, I wouldn't say it was enemies to lovers, but not really romantic at first. It was a monster romance for sure. And it had the Beauty and the Beast trope, sort of, obviously, but I personally love that. I mean, if you love grumpy sunshine, that kind of is, a main characteristic of the Beauty and the Beast trope. But we just had such a wonderful relationship between Soul and Briar, and I just absolutely loved it. So she is dealing with the after effects of her trauma from her past relationship with her husband Ethan, and I really liked that Saul gave her the time to heal from the trauma, and he wanted her to work through it. He was very protective of her, and there was even a scene that I just absolutely loved. I think I marked it in my notes, and I don't know if they've had, I think they've already done the deed at least once, and he's become very not possessive in like a stalkery way, but very protective in that sort of sense. And he's like, you're mine, which is romantic, but for her it's triggering for her. And she says to herself, I'm not yours, I'm myself, or to that extent. And I just absolutely love that it doesn't, this romance didn't take you away from what Briar Rose's past experiences were, but rather the romance came through past trauma and blossomed into something that was actually productive and fruitful and wholesome in a way, for a monster romance. But I absolutely love that, and how she didn't want to be owned. She didn't want to be possessed, or I'm like, you're mine sort of thing, which we get from those historical romances, which I think, well, like the old school historicals, which I think Katee Robert looked upon. And I just loved how she sort of turned that narrative for Briar Rose and made it more modern. And as a modern reader of romance, as people that you don't necessarily have to be feminist, but you're more like a girl power sort of person, it was nice to see that support, not just that possessive, your mind sort of thing. Because sometimes I do like the fantasy of the romance, but I like to have some realism thrown in. And I appreciate that Briar Rose had that realistic reaction to, wait, I do not want to be owned. I do not want to be someone's property. I just literally got away from this possessive, crazy jerk that beat me to an inch of my life before the book starts, And I really liked having that modern twist, and sort of nuance of ideas in the story. I really appreciated that Katee Robert did that. The romance was absolutely lovely. Soul is possessive, but like in that endearing way, like you would find with someone that really loves his spouse. He really worries about Briar. He finds her to be very fragile at first, and he wants to make sure she's safe. He wants to make sure she's protected, that he can be her protector, which I find that to be a very romantic element. I think the idea of feeling protected and safe with a loved one, whether it be a romantic partner, even family, in that sense, I think that's very comforting, and I felt that was the right choice for Briar Rose to go forward. So it was a possessive, I don't know if I'm using the right word. It was very caring and very concerned. He was very caring and concerned about Briar, and I really liked that part of the story. This is a Katee Robert novel, so it's got some high spice, and she delivers. And it's well done. What I really appreciate about Katee Roberts' writing is that even though it's a lot of spice, it's going towards that erotic or erotica novel. It really doesn't lack plot or storyline or character development. It's just wonderful. She does such a wonderful balance of having these really great graphic, spicy scenes that I think some people really want with the, like, it's a monster romance, so you kind of want something a little different. And I like that she doesn't sort of put the spice and stuff forward and take away from other things that I find to be important as a reader, like, character development, backstory of the characters, the romance and blossoming of all that, because there needs to be some trust. I know there's some stories where it's, hot and heavy. Like, I read that parody novella around Thanksgiving called Baby Gravy. It was a really good read. It was a 5-star read. It was 33 pages. If you want, I have a review on it, so if you type in I'll be reading romance and Baby Gravy review, it should come up. But that one's straight to the point, hot and heavy. It was still a very endearing story. But with this story, I like that we get an actual story. We get a romance. We get backstories of the characters. We find out that Soul had a sort of broken relationship with another female dragon named Anika, and he really thought she was the one. He was ready to have children with her, but life throws unexpected curveballs sometimes, and that didn't work out. Another thing I enjoyed was our heroine and our hero were not, the perpetual 22. I'm pretty sure in the Eloisa James book I just started, I think Cleopatra is 22 or 24. So for some reason, they love to make characters 22, 24. In the story, it doesn't say Briar's age, just that she'd been married to Ethan, who was her abusive husband, for like 13 years. So I'm assuming she might have gotten married around 22, like after college. So that would have been putting her around 35. So she's between, 35 to like maybe 38. And Soul is around 40, which I really liked. I like to read romances about, different stages of life. I'm 30, so I don't necessarily identify anymore with a teenage or high school or even sometimes collegiate romances anymore. I like more of, the 28, 30-year-old, 35-year-olds. I like to read about that. I was excited to see, I didn't watch it, but I saw Hallmark had a Second Chance Romance recently, and both of the actors, I believe, were probably in their 50s, possibly 60s, and I thought that was really cool, because I do like to see representation. I like to see different ages shown with romance, because romance is not, it doesn't end at a certain age. I think you can find love and the one whenever, and you might find more than one later in life, or polyamorous, whatever you want. But I absolutely loved The Dragon's Bride. It was a 6-star read. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. I've babbled on too much, and just love this story. I think a lot of people will like it as well. It is very short. It ends at 183 pages, so I read it in a day, which I think a lot of people have done. I know some people can read it in an hour or two. Very, very lucky. But just a wonderful short romance. And even though it was short, it was well written. I mean, sometimes short stories are some of the best. You know, look at Eudora Welty, and I love Joyce Carol Oates. And yeah, book 2 comes out, I believe, does she say? I think it's October, probably for like Halloween. And that's the Kraken Sacrifice. So that will be a Kraken romance. And I'm assuming there'll be some tentacles. So that should be interesting for the, I almost said Valentine's, for the Halloween season. I will definitely be picking that book up as well. Absolutely loved it. As you can see here, over here, I've added some more books that I'll be adding. These are my TBR. Yeah, my TBR books. I'm reading the Eloisa James right now, and I'm loving it. Yeah, I hope you've had a wonderful day. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, as well as comment. If you made it to the end of the video, leave a bride emoji in the comment section with a comment. Are you planning on reading it? Are you like, no, I'm passing? Or are you excited like I was as well? I absolutely love this cover. I feel bad for people that have to get the Discrete one, because I don't know, there's something very like old school about it that I just absolutely love. Like, I feel like it's like the Princess Bride or something like that. I just love this cover. It's like, oh, I wish I could get the artwork. I think it's so cool. Well, everyone, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at I'll Be Reading Romance. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye, everyone.